5.
Welcome, students, to Monk Meditation, the show about monks in the world of Warcraft.
Mists of Pandaria is finally coming to a close. We're going to take a look back at the highs and the lows and put an eye towards the future. Coming up on Monk Meditation, episode 34.
Here's your host, Chai T.
Welcome to the last show of Mists of Pandaria. I'm Chai T from Airy Peak, US, a Mistweaver monk with the Rolling Thunder team. I'm joined by our full team this week. I would like to welcome back our Windwalker extraordinaire from his world tour, from working as intended on Airy Peak, US. Air, how you doing, sir?
Doing good. Good morning, everybody. Fellow podcasters, fans alike. And it's good to be back.
Yes. Hi. Next up from the guild, premeditated on Storm Rage, our resident grumpy brewmaster, LeBlue. How are you, sir?
Hey, doing all right, and doing many mood swings. I'm trying to make the mood swing monk an actual spec at this point, as we've seen in Group Me.
All right, next, a Windwalker with a thunderous voice from Rolling Thunder on Airy Peak, Daikatsu.
Blizzcon is this week. BlizzCon! BlizzCon!
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little excited.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right, last but not least, a brewmaster from Inconceivable on Drendon, Guanshu. How are you, sir?
Oh man, I'm doing pretty good, but I think Daikatsu kind of just summed it all up.
Yeah.
BlizzCon this week, World of Podcasts. Yeah, that's pretty much the excitement of week.
Oh, jeez. Oh, nuts.
Oh, I'm deaf and Polly.
Oh, yep, that's... All right, well, let's check in with how WoW is now in
Storm, Earth,
And fire!
All right, Daikatsu, I'm going to start with you, sir. How's WoW going for you?
Done. It's over. I'm done. I never have to go into Siege of Orgrimmar ever again.
We are going to be doing
What?
achievement runs.
Transmog?
I've got the achievement for Siege.
Oh, that's right. You went in there and
Wait,
did
which
that
one?
already.
I've got the Siege meta achievements.
Oh, jerk. All right, well, you can stay out that day, I guess. All right.
I never have to go in again. Last week, LeBlue and his premeditated team were doing an alt run of Mythic. They needed a few DPS. They took pity on my gear and brought me in. And we killed Mythic Garrosh. And I got an heirloom. And I got the mount. I never have to see that bastard ever again.
Except for in
Warlords.
Nagrand. Yeah.
Ah, screw
Did
that.
you get your heirloom?
Yeah, he
I
got
did
it.
get the heirloom.
Yep.
I got the heirloom. I got the mount. Bastard is dead to me.
Did you Did you get your belt piece to complete the tier 16 monk set?
I have the complete tier 16 normal heroic monk set. I don't like the colors on the mythic monk set.
Air is inquisitive about that. Air, I'm going to check in with you. How's WoW going for you?
Skeptic here. It's been good. I've been back. I came back 2 weeks. 2 weeks, just about 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks, after 6.02 dropped. So I got back into the game. I loaded it up, and nothing looks the same. There's new character models, there's new sounds. Fist of Fury sounds great now. I don't know how to play my spec anymore. My raid team has gone ahead and they beat Mythic Garrosh. Well, I mean, we knew that already. Or they beat Heroic Garrosh back when it was Heroic. And we tried very hard. I was able to get the achievement in time, but good for the team. They did really well. I came back, first week, 3-hour clear of Mythic SOO, and wow.
I think WoW is exactly the word for this.
Wow. Nothing stays alive long enough to even get any damage up. I had hunters beating me. There's a rogue up there. We have a rogue in our team now, and I don't know what's going on. My world is topsy-turvy right now.
Yeah, my favorite is how long the fights last. When I'm doing Mistweaving, I hit Revival, and it's like my number 2 heal, because that's how short the fights are.
Yeah, we had ox statues being the highest damaging brewmasters for a few days.
Come at me, bro!
What is going on here?
I wish I'd used that.
Oh, all right, Guan
It's been
Shu.
good. It's been good getting back. Good to see all you guys again.
Yeah, it's good to
Now
see you.
I'm running old raids because I can solo everything I want, and it is good times.
All right, Guan Shu, hiding behind the mic here. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been playing my new Tauren monk, trying to level him up to a point so I can get the free professions with my...
You mispronounced that. It's Munk.
Monk?
Munk.
Monk?
There you go.
I don't get it.
Moo.
Oh, got it. Monk.
Yeah.
So I've been playing him, trying to get him to 60, so when I use my free character boost, I get the professions with it. Wednesday, call me a dirty casual, but I'm finally going to be able to get a garage kill on something other than LFR, which is nice. And then I have a new game that's been taking over my soul, much to like the amount of Destiny time that Daikatsu's been playing. Farm Simulator 2015.
What?
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Got any cows?
No cows yet. I have chickens, and I'm really good with the canola.
Ooh.
And I have 3 plots of land.
Okay. Are you going to expand into ostrich or anything exotic like that?
No, none of that stuff's
Okay.
in there. Yeah,
All right.
if it was in
All
there.
right,
I would.
LeBlue.
I want to do bison burgers personally.
LeBlue, he did ask you to call him a filthy casual, so I'm going to you.
You, sir, are the filthiest of casuals. So filthy that even filthy casuals find you filthy. Back to you, Shai.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow.
All right, speaking of filthy casuals, how's Clicker Heroes going for you?
Amazing. Hey, to be fair, I've literally cleared Siege of Orgrimmar Mythic 3 times, and I'm probably gonna do it 3 times again this week, and I'm probably gonna do it at least twice before expansion hits on Thursday. Between my main monk, my prop paladin for paladin perspective, and my baby monk, which I may or may not have misweaved on this past Sunday, but nobody knows because Daikatsu didn't put it on Twitter. So yeah, that's my week.
Okay. So,
Delicious. It was the best birthday present I've ever had.
I know Kagrai Red loved it as well. It was fantastic.
He did?
Yep. All right.
Who is this Red guy?
Who is the Red?
He's the Bizarro Universe version of LeBlue.
Yeah, the casual
So-
Mistweaver.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Know-it-all affiliation with the actual LeBlue.
Not
No.
that we know of.
Officially.
It's a mystery to know.
Officially.
Yeah, officially
Mystery.
there's no connection.
Blue, you
Well,
were so
definitely.
famous you got your own parody account. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. It's been a good month for me so far as publicity.
All right. Well, my time in WoW has been pretty interesting. I completed my last official Siege of Orgrimmar run Friday night with Rolling Thunder. We carried a couple of Convert to Raid greeters through and got them their heirlooms and a full clear on Heroic.
Excellent.
So good riddance to Garrosh. May I not ever see you again. Well, let's see. Besides that, I was helping Lady Chai get geared up for a Herald of the Titans run. Mimron is a right pain in the butt to solo as a Windwalker. Stupid
Yeah.
head up there. Ugh. I did it.
No more spinning Fire Blossom.
Yeah, can't spinning Fire Blossom. It's like crackling Jade Lightning for the lose, man. It was not fun. Let's see. Besides that, let's see. I proposed to Lady Chai this weekend. Then I got my scumbag rogue up to...
Whoa.
You just
Yeah, I know. I have a
Stumble for that
scumbag rogue. I'm sorry. My
I
bad.
didn't say rogue. I said, whoa.
That's okay. I have a scumbag rogue too.
Yeah.
I have a level 5 scumbag roll.
Yeah. That's...
Mine is 7.
So that's going past everyone's head except mine. Am I in some alternate universe there? I don't have daylight savings time, so maybe I'm here just before all you guys.
That's probably... Let's wait for it. Wait for it.
My scumbag rogue.
There you
actually-
go.
shit!
So I took the heirlooms off of him and gave them to my monk. So is that what you were waiting for?
Yes.
No. He's helping her with Herald of the Titans. Isn't that romantic?
Yes,
told
I
you,
did
if you need-
propose
if
to
you
her.
need someone-
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm glad that the time's catching up with all you back there, too.
Yeah. So, yeah, she did say
it's
yes.
late,
So.
and this isn't water.
Yeah, it was fun. I made her do a clue hunt. We had like 12 or 13 people over for a Halloween party, and made her do a clue hunt, and everyone else was videotaping her, and she had no idea what the heck was going on. She's like, "Why is everyone videotaping me? I'm very confused." And so it was fantastic. So yeah, yes.
Check chat room.
Check chat room.
Oh,
chat
gosh.
room. Chat room.
He's here.
Who?
He's here.
Lored.
Kagrai Lored is here. Yes.
Anyways, in real life news, congrats, Shy.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I did get my scumbag rogue up to 80, so I'll be working on the Herald of the Titans as well. So
Wait, you didn't say she said yes yet. You said
She
you
did.
asked her.
She
Okay.
did, yes.
I'm waiting for the payoff there.
Yeah. No,
He's still waiting for the answer.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. She hasn't told me yet, so she said she'll have to get back to me on
It's
that.
in a series of clues you got to track down.
Right, exactly. All right, well, I think it's time to get caught up in the crazy whirlwind of WoW news. Indeed, let's go to BlizzCon 2014.
It's coming up, isn't it?
It is. It is coming up
Sometime very soon.
this Friday. As we discussed the last episode, there's a couple of blank spots in the panel rotation. So, and there's also
call it an obvious hole would be an understatement.
right. And most interestingly, there has been, if we recall back in April, there was a trademark for the term Overwatch awarded to Blizzard Entertainment. So we may see something about Overwatch there, and the only kind of universe that fits into right now would be StarCraft.
I have a theory.
What is your theory?
Oh.
It's a Destiny title.
The Dark Below.
Oh, that's right, Dark Below.
We
Below.
know for a fact
God.
that Activision asked Blizzard to file the Dark Below trademark so that no one would connect it back to Bungie.
Yep.
We know this for a fact.
That's trickery right there.
Yep.
Oh, really?
How
I
are
didn't
supposed
realize
to
that
be
was like
proper
a fact.
internet sleuths?
Yes.
They do that kind of stuff.
So
No. They've owned up to it. Like Bungie has owned up to it. Yes, we asked Blizzard. Was
now,
the
what was interesting was that the Dark Below was filed in the EU only.
Yes.
And now another trademark came out this week that is following the exact same pattern, which I'm pretty darn sure is not going to be a Destiny expansion. The Eye of Azshara.
No, that sounds like
No,
Destiny.
that sounds
I've
like
never
Destiny.
played Destiny before, but that sounds just like Destiny. I'm going with Destiny.
So
Can I let you guys know what it's going to be, though?
Go for
Everybody's wrong. It's
Okay.
not a Hearthstone expansion or whatever. What it is, it's a new line of women's makeup that Blizzard decided they needed to diversify their portfolio, and video games just aren't what they used to be.
Oh.
So, women's makeup.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
All right. So
gosh.
what? I need some ammunition for the predictions panel I'm going to be on at World Podcast. So tell me, Eye of Azshara. What do we think this is?
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone.
That does make sense.
Guaranteed, it's like people have said out there, it's either the expansion or a new single-player adventure. My guess is expansion.
I have a crazy theory. So back when Firelands was being developed, they had to scrap the whatever maw of the Water Realm. What happened was it actually got caught in a time flux, and we're actually going to get it as a 6.1 content patch. And we're gonna have
They've never
another raid.
trademarked a tier name.
They have now, and it's going to be level 85 still.
Level
And
85.
it's going to be completely face roll, but it's going to be like the most awesomest thing ever. And Neptulon will actually gain feet. He'll have more feet. He'll have 4 feet to outdo regular.
The bonus feature of Eye of Ashara is the Neptulon octopus wedding.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Whatever.
Okay,
I'll do
so
that.
all right.
Stay away from that.
Okay. So 2 other possibilities that have been thrown out there that I'm kind of intrigued by. First of all, another. The hell was that?
We have a caller?
Yeah, caller on the line. Okay.
First time caller, long time listener.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. That was weird, but okay. Warcraft 4.
Sorry, chat room, you got us on a weird week.
Yeah, Warcraft 4. Eye of Ashara. Anybody?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Oh no,
No.
you're just saying
There
an
will never
entire
be a Warcraft 4.
Sadly, there
entire
will not be
Warcraft set
4.
underwater,
Yep.
and we thought we hated Vashir.
Yeah.
I liked Vashir.
I like Bashir.
Don't you dare side me with the rest of you plebeians. Vashir was amazing.
Vashir was the only
Yeah.
zone I did as Chai T.
Man, that's
good,
like a
good music. It's
three-dimensional,
Yeah, but
like
it was like way too damn long. It
was-
overstayed
I did it as
welcome
a
at about
90s,
the
so it was
halfway.
pretty quick.
Okay, all right. If it's not going to be
All right.
Warcraft,
no.
War
I agree.
expansion.
I
okay.
agree. Think about it, like three-dimensional, like you can move up and down, left and right. RTS. It's like a
Going to
brand
be a
new thing.
first-person shooter.
No, it's an RTS, so you can go like this way and then this way. You can't do,
I have enough problem with StarCraft, and that's X and Y. You add Z, and my brain just leaks out my ear and runs out the door.
Flying mount combat. Just saying. Flying mount combat.
So okay, the other possibility is a WoW expansion. So they trademarked Warlords over a year before it came out. Maybe they're not going to actually announce anything, but this might be the next WoW expansion since they're trying to push them out in a year. So we may not see anything this time.
It's Siege of Gromash. After a year.
I give the idea that this is the next expansion after Warlords about a 10% chance.
Yeah.
That sounds
Possible,
reasonable.
not probable.
Well, I
It
mean, 'cause
sounds
they're-
reasonable, but where's the time for a year of Siege of Gromash? We need, like Siege of Gromash. We need a year.
They have gone on record and said that if they can get the expansion out fast enough, there will only be 2 tiers in Warlords.
Yep. So they'll put the second tier out like in the first week, and then we have a year of it. Air.
5 years.
You know,
2
for
tiers.
what they're saying is there's going to be, spoiler alert, possibly heavy Burning Legion influence at the end of this expansion, based on what they've said with the rating coming in. So,
Yeah.
does that really tie in with something having to do with the Murloc woman, whatever her name is?
Ashara,
Ashara?
yeah,
There we go.
sure.
Why do you
Exactly.
think
No, it
she's
doesn't.
a fish woman?
She's a fish woman because of old gods, not because of
Exactly.
Burning Legion.
But that came from serving the Burning Legion, though.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing was because she was serving the Burning Legion, and then
She
of
opened
eternity
a giant
collapsed, and
portal
old
and
gods
said,
were like,
"Hey, why
we'll-
don't
we'll
you guys
save
come
you
over
for
and
the-"
wreck this stuff?"
Yeah,
Right,
but
she jumped.
There
She would be.
There was an amazing timeline correlation that someone put together, indicating because this is a new timeline, none of this happened yet. And so Ashara,
The War of the Ancients definitely happened.
well,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
like 10,000
Or-
years.
right?
prior.
No, I know what you're saying, but this gives a chance for them to go back to the Tomb of Sargeras and get that going again.
Yeah.
If the end of Warlords of Draenor is we cross back to Azeroth and all of a sudden King Lane Rin is there going, "Thank you for saving us," people are going to toss tables that are going to orbit the moon.
That'd be bad. That won't end well, because what'll happen is we have to save that alternate universe, because now that the Horde hasn't invaded that universe, now that universe is completely and totally screwed because they don't have the Horde to make them stronger as a whole. So the Burning Legion will come and destroy them all, and now we have to save them for them. Yay! Because more alternate time travel shenanigans. We
So
love that
since
so much.
And I'm
we're
out.
talking lore, any monk lore going to be in Warlords? I think the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
No.
None.
There's a monk
All those
and you're gonna
Draenei
punch
monks.
Gromash
Yeah.
in the face. I'm gonna
Yeah.
punch Gromash in the face.
You're
There's your monk lord.
going to see monks and you're going to see Pandaren. Will any of them play an important part of a story surrounding the fact that they are Pandaren and or monk? No. None. That ain't happening.
All right. Well, now to keep the now to keep the
Badik, 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 badik,
Would you like me to try it?
and now to keep your spirits up while the world changes around you in.
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
Uplift. Don't worry, I'm sure it happens to other monks too.
You know the sad part is I don't even drink. Okay. Hot fixes.
We'll fix that.
Yeah, well, hot fixes came in. So we mentioned one earlier that was quite hilarious. The Black Ox decided it wanted to hit things, and it hit things very hard.
It was your best DPSer.
Yes.
it was
And
copying
it's-
melee attacks.
Some
So
people may or may not have realized this was occurring and weren't able to fully abuse this.
Yeah.
Clearly, this was intended. I don't know why they're nerfing monks so much. Clearly, Blizzard just likes nerfing monks. And there should be a general outcry against
Because
this
if
and
you
the
look at
nerfing
your
of monks.
charts, your top DPS should be a statue that doesn't move.
Yes, it should be, and because warriors, look at warriors, they're overpowered. I want to be overpowered too.
Didn't they get nerfed like 75% or something like that?
I don't know.
All right. Also,
I know
I
that
just want- I
slam
just
got nerfed by like 30%, and every warrior just cried.
On this same note, I just want to give a quick little shout out to Quillen, because he's the one who brought this to my attention with his log from Iron Juggernaut. I took it to my raid team. We replicated it, then we started, because Celestalon had heard about this, but then we started inundating him with logs, which is great because I had insomnia that night. It was 2 a.m. my time. We're sitting there tweeting away. They figured out how to fix it.
Tweeting like in the afternoon, and I'm thinking,
is it like 3 or 4 in the morning?
I'm sorry for helping to get that nerfed, Blue. I
Yes.
really am.
I
What about
found
me?
out about it and couldn't even use it. Jerk.
I mean,
yes. So if you want to blame someone, don't blame Celestalon, blame Air.
Yep.
yeah. So why do we have to feel like we have to give these good things, like, give the information to the devs? Just keep it there. As a team,
Because
we're
this
better
was stupid.
when it's broken.
This was stupid broken.
Speaking of stupid broken, there
there's
was
kind
a
of good broken.
there was
Yeah.
a bug with Stance of the Fierce Tiger as well. The movement speed increase wasn't working correctly for newly created monks. So
Even old monks.
yeah, some old monks weren't. And there was a lovely bug that was like, if for Windwalker monks only, it was something
You
like
couldn't.
Couldn't craft more than one item.
right at a time. That was dumb, so they fixed that. And then there was also a bug with Chi Explosion.
Spec equals Windwalker, economy equals false.
Right. So Chi Explosion will now deal reduced damage to secondary targets. So this is a slight nerf to Chi Explosion. Damage to the primary target remains unchanged, so similar to Fist of Fury. So keep that in mind.
Also, yeah. before I
Which
forget,
is really
shout out to
good
Hina
because
Lover.
now
Yeah.
it allows them to have 2 different knobs to balance Chi Explosion around.
Right.
The main hit and how much it hits to the second and how much it hits secondary target. So it's actually a really good fix for us and will let us make Chi Explosion as strong as it needs to be.
Yeah.
On single target fights at least.
All right. And so I also want to go up while we're talking in the uplift section here, where we're talking about what's coming up. So coming up before the next show, after BlizzCon, Warlords of Draenor is coming out. You're going to be stepping into old Draenor. So
You like orcs?
you
I
better.
hope you like orcs because you're going to be
Sure
up to
do
your
like
elbows
orcs.
in orcs.
I like killing orcs.
Yeah. Well, have we got a game for you?
Yeah.
All right.
Best
So
X-Pac.
I want to let you guys know as monks what to expect when you go through that portal. So one key feature is you guys are going to get perks. So as you level up, they don't want to give you more abilities because they already chopped a whole bunch of abilities. So what they're going to do is power up some of your existing ones. There's going to be 4 perks down from the 10 they originally started with. Every 2 levels now you're going to get one at random. You'll have them all once you hit 100. So all specs are going to get these 2. Enhanced roll. You're going to roll the same distance 25% faster. So you're going to get where you want to go faster, which is always nice. Transcendence is getting a buff and actually going to be useful now. You're going to use it a lot more. So placing the spirit has a significantly reduced cooldown now. It got reduced by 35 seconds, so it's going to be up when you need it.
It's a 10-second
Right.
cooldown, basically, placing a spirit.
Yep, and then transferring is instant cast. So now if you can cheese stuff like, what was it, Darumu, when you get knocked back off the platform, you can do... Like if you have your spirit down, you get knocked back, you can pop back without having a cast time. So that's going to be fantastic for those types of
Be
encounters.
amazing.
If you're doing Darumu and Warlords of Draenor,
I'm just
sorry.
using that as an example.
I'm so sorry.
Not really. You'll just like 2-shot him, so it'll be all right. Brewmasters, LeBlue, why don't you go over these?
Yeah, Brewmasters. So our 2 cool perks are Breath of Fire, which just causes it to no longer require Dizzying Haze to apply the dot, which is you can now use it off the bat without Dizzying Haze, and bosses will now be affected by the dot. Hooray!
Yay!
And then the other change, which I'm actually really waiting for, and I keep doing this accidentally on live right now because I mucked about with it so much on beta, is Guard now has 2 charges. In effect, you get 1 extra guard across the fight, but it gives you more flexibility on being able to use guard as just baseline mitigation while being able to have 1 up for abilities and whatnot. So, huzzah! Huzzah!
Yay!
Yay!
Yay.
All All right, so Mistweavers, Life Cocoon now is down from 2 minutes to 1 minute 40-second cooldown, so we can be able to use that more often. And Renewing Mist has its duration increased by 2 seconds, which with attach that to Pool of Mists, and you have a lot of extra healing going out, which is fantastic.
And now you know why they nerfed Renew
Yes, yes, Renewing Mist. Yes. All right, and Windwalker, Air, you want to go over these?
Yeah, let's see. What do we got? We got our baseline chi is going to be increased to 5, which is pretty neat. That means with Ascension we get 6, don't
Yep,
we?
yep.
That's a lot of chi.
A 6 chi explosion, I believe, not only takes down the server, but wrecks the entire continent. I think that's what
Awesome.
it does. Yes.
Great. It kills Garrosh for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It goes back in time
Yes.
because we're going back in time.
It makes Siege of Orgrimmar shorter every time you do it.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. And our spinning crane kick will now do the same amount of damage in half the time. So initiate spin
Which
cycle,
was
fellow monks.
hilarious on the beta.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm done. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Oh crap! I don't have any energy. Whoops.
Oh,
Oh boy.
you know it's going to be over so fast. Oh,
All right.
dating in high school all over again.
So we have some new glyphs that'll become available in the auction house or from your favorite scribe, so hit them up. Some of these were converted from previous glyphs, so if you've already collected them all, then you've got most of these already. But there are a couple new ones of note. The floating butterfly. Daikatsu. What does this one do?
It makes Fists of Fury awesomer. As if it wasn't good enough, right? So now you get to move with Fists of Fury, and it also removes the stun. Because that's not really a drawback in the slightest.
Nope, not
You
if you're
get to
raiding.
sting like one of those crazy Japanese hornets.
Yeah.
The size of my fist, literally.
Exactly.
They're this big, and they throw Volkswagens at you.
Pretty much.
So this kind of now something else that they've done with these glyphs. Now keep in mind is that they've made some of them exclusive. So the Fist of Fury ones, there is the one where the floating butterfly, and I think there's also one where it's oh shoot, what else does it do?
The current one on live allows us to just remove the stun effect,
Right.
doesn't it?
No.
Yeah.
No, it makes the stun
Or-
last longer.
Oh, they changed that.
Yeah, one of them makes the stun last longer, which obviously would not work if you also had floating butterfly because there is no stun.
Right.
In a lot of cases, these exclusivity is literally, please don't take these two. You're wasting a glyph slot. So they're actually trying to take away traps.
Right. Yeah, so there's a lot of them that will be exclusive. So when you click on it and put it in, it will gray out the other ones, so you won't be able to utilize them. So that'll be handy.
Saro in chat helps us out. It extends the range.
Thank
Ah,
you.
there it
Range
is.
by 5. I was like, I
Range
didn't think it
by
had
5.
anything to do with the stun, but I didn't know what it was.
This is what
Shut
happens
up.
when you're away for weeks at a time.
Exactly.
You forget how to monk.
Okay, so let's go over some new ones that will require the Warlords of Draenor ink in order to make. So Zen Focus is going to be Mistweaver 1. Thunder Focus T also makes you immune to silence and interrupts for 5 seconds. This seems like a PvP, but I imagine there may be a couple fights in there where that's going to be handy in PvE, but I doubt it.
That's still PvP set bonus.
Yeah.
Right there. That's what that used to be.
Yeah. So Expel Harm. Expel Harm's energy cost is reduced by 5 while your health is below 35%. Pretty sure that's a Brewmaster one.
Yeah. Yay for replacing something that my glyph enduring healing spheres used to be.
Yep.
Because right now it's an empty spot that occasionally gets filled with glyph of guard right now. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Flying Serpent, this one got transitioned from the old one. So now what it does, instead of stopping you when you hit somebody, actually I think they have that one in there still, but they implemented a new one. Now when you pass through targets, they're slowed by 70% for 4 seconds. So this is a useful PvP one. You're just like, whee! And
Did they bring back being able to steer?
No,
No.
that is
Because
gone now. That was
they need to.
fantastic. That was so much fun
They
in
need
beta.
to.
Keg Smash, 5 yards additional range because you guys need more.
I want to AoE stuff across the room.
Right.
I want to be able to hit the boss in the next raid instance when I kick smash.
It's a new light beer formula.
I'm DPSing tier 18 right now.
Oh, one bongo, sir. One bongo. All right. Renewed T, another Mistweaver one. When your renewing mist is dispelled, gain 1 stack of Mana T. Again, a PvP one. and Soothing Mist. This one is kind of fun in PvE, but it's more PvP talent. But when you stop channeling Soothing Mist, you gain 60% movement speed for 1 second for every second you spent channeling. So if you do your full movement, you get to zoom across the room. So I can see a couple of different PvE encounters where that might be fun.
That's going to be super good for PvE.
Yeah.
Being able to, because when you need to move, you need to haul, because we don't have, like, no cast time uplift anymore.
Right.
So getting from point A to B is even more important than it was previously. I mean, we already have a lot of tools for that, but hey.
There's not
I'll
a lot of
take more.
glyphs out there for Mistweavers, so this might be one that I just have slotted in there by default just for fun. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
What about the glyph that they removed but didn't mean to remove?
Which one was that?
Blackout Kick.
Oh, Blackout Kick.
it's
yeah,
back.
Yeah, they put that
It's
one
back now.
in. Yep.
It's back.
Yeah, Callie annoyed the hell out of Celestalon until they put it back.
Excellent. That's good.
Once a day, every day at 8 in the morning Pacific time.
Yep.
Is it back yet?
Wonderful. That's good to know. That's news to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest, I wanted to put a little section about garrisons and how to get started here, but A, not really monk specific, and B, I haven't played enough with them to do that, and plus,
And there are so many good
yes,
resources.
there are
out
good
there.
guides out there. Plus, I know
Garrisons of the
LeBlue would
devil.
come from the East Coast to me and beat me, so I decided not to do that.
I hate garrisons, and I'm still looking for the nuke your garrison from orbit button. I can't find it. I will find it.
You have to unlock the StarCraft follower.
I will order an exterminatus just for my garrison. The whole freaking Draenor will be gone, but my garrison will be gone, and that's all that matters. Exterminatus. I'm doing it.
All
Just wait.
right. Well, students, with that in mind, it's time to meditate and expand our knowledge in...
Transcendence.
All right, so this is the last week of Mists of Pandaria. This is our last show in Mists of Pandaria. So, Mists of Pandaria was our expansion. This is where we came to being. This is where we came from. So, I want to give us a little chance to look back on Mists of Pandaria and see how things have progressed, see the highs, see the lows, how are things going. So, anyone want to start?
I will.
All right, Guanshu.
Yeah, so definitely my high was just actually having a week off to level my monk from work. That was like I feel like something else should be the best part of it, but nope. For me, getting the time to level up, having fun with the new class, and finding the community is probably the best thing that could have happened, I think, in any expansion. So, I mean, you can't really top, new people that are great people to talk to, and the best class out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I started this, right before the expansion came out, I started the monk meditation segment at the end of CTR. So the community outpouring that came just from like a minute at the end of the instance and convert to raid, was enough to make me happy with my choice of going pure monk. And so I remember when that monk dropped down at BlizzCon, and they showed him, and it's like, monk, and I was like, oh my god. And then Mistweaver, they said Mistweaver, and they're like, oh, you get to do DPS while you heal. And I was like, ah, and then I didn't play it until now, but that's okay.
I started off as a Mistweaver in MOP, so that was what got me excited too. So.
Yeah, I always had it as my
super
off spec,
psyched for it.
yeah, I always had it as my off spec, but never really did it seriously until now. So, but it's yeah, the community, I think, is definitely one of the high points for me. I mean, putting together the podcast was a lot of fun, and I'm still having fun doing it now. And just all the people are awesome.
Yeah. Because at BlizzCon, we're going to be a bunch of monks hanging out.
Yeah.
I mean, rogues can't say that. They're all sneaky and scumbaggy by themselves. So.
Right. Yeah, it was.
And honestly, how many of us look just like our characters?
Me.
I actually don't. Dang it.
I'm
I'm doing this wrong.
After which race change?
Have you at any time looked like your character?
Eric, you change
Maybe now
races
more
as
than
often
ever.
as I change underwear every freaking day. It feels like, holy cow,
Yeah,
dude.
it's like I started pulling up screenshots now to put together the new promo for the show, and I pulled it up.
I gotta
like,
get to you on that.
I'm like, that
Again.
Night
He
Elf.
has to-
Do I have the right
He
one?
has to be happy for like 3 days. Once he's happy with a race for 3 days, that's the one he'll have for at least.
Are
a
you
week.
seriously looking at changing again, sir? Really?
No, I'm set to go now.
Okay.
All
You were set to
shenanigans.
go with Draenor like a month ago.
I will believe it when I see it.
I still
if
haven't-
you've been raced for a month.
Draenei Paladin, which is fine by me.
But you're the wrong half of Draenei to boot. You're a freaking male space goat. Wrong. You are wrong. You're just factually, objectively wrong.
Let's go patch by patch. I want to do this way. So let's.
Nah, that's quite all right. I mean, we don't need to go into that kind of detail.
Now let's go to let's go to
Memories, next
6.0.
person.
So let's go to 6.0. Windwalkers were quite interesting. Their mastery was combo breaker. So
5.0.
It was a 5.0. Sorry, 5.0. So in 5.0, combo breaker was our mastery. 5.1, we've kept the same. 5.2, bottled fury.
Yep.
5.3, whatever the hell it is now.
Awesome sauce.
Yes. So from the Windwalker perspective, those of us who have played Windwalker, it's been kind of an up and down roller coaster a little bit, hasn't it?
There's been high points and low points. There's been single target amazingness. There's been WTF broken moments. And
Your
now
2 million
we're-
Rising Sun kick on Horadon, for example.
There's been
I
rut
still
row.
have that screenshot.
We had Rut Row.
Oh, God.
We had...
I think that was the low point for a Windwalker.
That was
If you didn't have the trinket, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you never did, did you?
rating
I never got it.
Yeah,
Just to
Chai
get
never
that
had
trinket.
it.
Yeah. It's I would say the most
Chai
fun.
had an awful Throne of Thunder, I should say.
Yes. Never got Retro, never got a weapon the whole time. It was fantastic. It sucked.
Sorry, that's not laughter you're hearing.
Pity. It's a
that's
pity
me.
laugh.
That's pity.
Yes. What do you think? Which of the rating tiers do you think was the most fun for the Windwalker perspective?
I really did enjoy Tot. I mean, minus Rut Row and everything like that. I think the instance itself was a lot of fun. MSV is good to go through and blast through. Heart of Fear I always try to forget because I don't like that place. Toes
Still
is
need
nice.
to finish Heart of Fear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Throne of Thunder had everything. It had the ambiance. It had interesting fights. It had interesting bosses. There's a lot going on there, and it culminated with Lei Shen, which is just an amazing fight. And you really had to use your entire toolkit to get through that and do really well. If you had a Rut Row, you did have some really fun moments, like Jinrock.
Right. Yeah.
When you're suddenly you're at the beginning of that tier and you're doing 1,000,000 DPS during spiking in that first puddle, and you're like, all right, yeah, things like that. You didn't see numbers like that really from too many other classes, so that made it a lot of fun. We did have the change. We got Stormworth and Fury. I think it was right before then.
Storm, Earth, and Fire came in I think 5.1. So we had it.
It came at the end of MSV.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, we had an MSV because I remember I was like, ooh, I can cheese the hell out of, was it Garrelon?
Garrelon, Will of the Emperor.
Yeah, Will of the Emperor was a good cheese mechanic on that
fun.
one. So yeah, I remember when that came out, I was like, oh, wow, we're going to be the gods of Cleave now, because before we weren't. Cleave was
the
really
first
bad.
fight too. The Stone Guards.
too. BT dubs.
Yeah.
You could flip.
Okay,
I mean, it
Hina
was-
Lover's saying 5.2, but I'm guessing it's because I was still in MSV at the time. I was still working on Garrelon at the time. Actually, Elegon. Good. Hated that.
Carolon, the convert to raid group stomper.
Right. Oh, man.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think Tot was overall, I think, a lot of fun. I mean, even when we're doing really well in Siege overall too. There's a lot of fights that can really be used on, but I think everything all together, I think I had the most fun in Tot.
Yeah, I would actually say, except for the length of it, I think Siege of Orgrimmar, I think, was my favorite raid, just in terms of being a monk, because you had so many fights that challenged every toolkit you had. Like the protectors, you got to use Storm, Earth, and Fire to really good potential. You got to use in the third shot of the amalgamation of corruption. You got to use Storm, Earth, and Fire again, and you got to use a lot of your cleave. You got to use there was so much encounters in that raid tier that I think was just a lot of fun to do as a monk. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Mistweaver. So let's go back. Mistweaver was interesting because there was a lot of ups and downs early on, and then it kind of stagnated, and they didn't want to do many changes to that spec. I know LeBlue has very strong feelings about 5.0, so let's go to him.
So 5.0, we had one button. It was called Spinning Crane Kick. It was amazing. Then week 2, they nerfed it because one button, Spinning Crane Kick. And then the rest of the tier was just jab, jab, uplift, and kind of figuring out zeal weaving and all that good stuff. And then you started to see the divide of, I fist weave and do almost no damage or healing. And then you had people who sat only in ranged. And obviously, again, the jab, jab, uplift, zeal weaving nonsense. And that was cool. I kind of liked that because it was that mixed hybrid thing that we liked. But that was the cherry picking they didn't like. And it was grossly overpowered for pure throughput reasons. But hey, it was fun. I thought it was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go us.
Yeah.
Adam, you were Mistweaving too, weren't you?
Yeah, I really.
No, he said Adam.
Oh, Adam.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, I was saying I was Mistweaving for the. It's weird because actually I switched every tier. So I don't have like a progression like everybody else. Like, oh, I started Mistweaver and this Mistweaver got better. I Mistweaved in the first one because we had 2 tanks and I was coming over from a healer, and I had a lot of fun. I fist weaved a ton because we have like a broken druid healer that I could just do whatever I wanted. It didn't matter. So I had a ton of fun in the first set, and we did really well. That was probably the best raiding we did as a guild was during that first tier. So much fun.
Yeah. And Dekatsu, you were Mistweaver most of the expansion.
I Mistweaved all the way through our first garage progression kill.
Yep.
And for me, Throne of Thunder Mistweaver was absolute tops. You had incredible control. You had the ability to switch intelligently to a Fistweaver, right? It wasn't just jab, jab, uplift, which was awful. It was great from a through point of view, but it was some of the worst gameplay ever. The Mistweaver at 5.2 felt like they were in total control over how their heals went out. If 5.3 broke a lot of that, especially breaking the amazing feel that Revival had.
Yeah, they've brought that back.
Yeah, it's back. It was a bug.
Yeah.
The developers on one hand are saying, "What do you mean? It's amazing. That's our utility." Everyone else is going,
instant.
"Yeah, but I'm healing with spitballs." It's like, hold on, we fixed a bug that divided the healing it did per player, and all of a sudden you press it, and there's people back at Stormwind who are like, "Oh man, it's time to get up."
Yep.
5.2 Revival was something that you planned around, was something that you savored when you got a chance to use it. Because Horadon was the best example of that, but there were other fights where the properly timed renewal turned a wipe into a kill.
Yep.
It really was that utility of, man, all this thing's going left. Okay, now we've got it all right, and you killed the boss. There were a lot of really clutch victories like that. Our first Lei Shen kill was something that we got because of a well-timed revival.
Yep.
So it really was the whole utility that you brought a Mistweaver around. They could erase that one mistake. That one mistake the whole raid made, Revival fixed. If you made a second mistake, you were wiping. Sorry. But it really felt great as a Mistweaver. Going into Siege of Orgrimmar, I felt demoralized as a Mistweaver. The tools that I had gotten used to, the power that I was used to wielding, I've never felt overpowered. I felt perfectly powered because I wasn't always topping the meters in 5.2. Our Paladin could catch up to us. Our Shaman could catch up. And all three of us, we had fights where the bars were like, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. Each of us healed 33% of what was out there.
Yep.
And those were really good feeling fights. It felt like the raid team came together. The healers were really watching each other's back. 5.4 felt like 5.0 Mistweavers, where you had to really cheese through fist weaving. You had to cheese through your mana in order to put out the output that you were used to. And it felt wrong. And that's one of the main reasons why I kind of have gradually moved away from the Mistweaver, and why when after we took down Garrosh the first time, I mean, our first kill with Garrosh, you remember what I was wearing?
You were wearing your DPS cloak.
I was wearing the legendary DPS agility cloak.
Yeah.
Because I was fist weaving, because my heals meant nothing. The Paladin was healing 3 times me. The Shaman was healing 3 times me. My heals literally meant nothing. And my DPS as a Windwalker was pure shit. So, fine, let's DPS. And it's just, I have the cloak on. I'm trying the caster cloak on. It didn't work. Okay, fine. Let me try the agility cloak and see what happens. And every time I punched, all of a sudden there's these blue scratches coming out of nowhere. And I'm like, wow, that's a really cool effect. Why have I never put this on before? And it got me an extra 15k DPS that allowed us to kill Garrosh.
Yep.
It was literally the difference between not killing Garrosh and killing Garrosh at what gear level were we at? About 537, 538 around there?
Something like that, yeah. So let's move on to Brewmasters. Brewmasters were in a very interesting spot. They felt pretty darn fine-tuned right to begin with, and the only thing they were really changing was numbers. Like, they gave you those red numbers for a little bit. Mechanics didn't really change from tier to tier, so there was a very steady progression for the Brewmasters. So those who have played Brewmaster, how do you guys feel it went from 5.0 to 5.4?
Go on, Adam, you want to start? And I'll.
I never brewmastered in 5.0.
I did, because I brewmastered like when our bear tank wasn't there one day in 5.0. Like, I did not start brewmastering until Throne of Thunder, when our bear tank, very first week she was gone for the week, so I had to tank, and this was when Horadon was still just a mess for 10 man, absolutely awful, and that first week was rough. Yeah. And then I went back to Mistweaver until we killed Lei Shen and then Heroic Jinrock, and then our bear tank left, and then I went Brewmaster from then. Going from Tot, I'll start there. Felt pretty good. Vengeance cheesing all around. We were like, if we could somehow bubble and cheese all the debuffs like Paladins could, we would have been just as awesome as them, but
right.
We weren't quite that awesome. We were still pretty awesome, just not quite that awesome. I fondly remember tanking Dark Animus plus 3 ads that were linked so that I would get all the Vengeance and just wailing on Dark Animus. That was a hell of a lot of fun, even if when I actually got hit, my health bar went from full to 1 to full to 1 the whole fight. It was very butt clenching, a lot of fun. Our guild killing Heroic Lei Shen literally the Sunday before Siege dropped just felt amazing. And then the cheesiness that is Shuffle versus Rawden, just hilarious. And then that's when Blizzard realized with mechanics, oh crap, when we make mechanics that target active mitigation, we can't target Shuffle because a monk will go, LOL, what's Shuffle? Because it's already up.
Right.
And gosh, that would have been
what
awful.
happened with Claxy.
Well, that would have been awful on Claxy because you would have had to make a cancel or a macro to cancel your Shuffle to take the debuff on Heroic, which doesn't make a lot of sense because now you're going to get wailed on really freaking hard until you get it back up. But going into Siege, I felt really good about my Brewmaster. I was co-tanking with the Death Knight, so everything I did, I could be AFK and I'd do better than him because Death Knights. But Truth. I felt really good. I have to say the most fun I had with Brewmaster was if we'd hit it in Rage for some reason, and because I have a confession, I didn't trust my healers for anything. I stacked Mastery in 10 man. Even though crit would universally is probably the
I
better way to
remember
go.
you were the guy who was the all hail master, our overlord and God and savior.
I tanked Iron Juggernaut for 25 seconds into his enrage.
Yep.
Heroic 10-man
Sounds like
Juggernaut.
fun.
Because I popped, like, I lived for 5 seconds without fortifying. I popped fortifying, and, like, I literally didn't take damage until his flame vents. And even then, that didn't kill me somehow because of diffuse magic. So, I mean, I really enjoyed that. And then I loved solo tanking Thok and 10-man. That was a lot of fun. Like, finding the nuances to survive the spikes and stuff. Had a blast figuring out how to freaking kill shredders on 10-man Siegecrafter because, again, LOL
DPS,
Death Knight, what is damage? And Brewmasters weren't a good class for it either, but I figured it out. Had a blast with Klaxi. I know a lot of people hate Paragons of Klaxi. That is probably my favorite fight of the tier. I absolutely reveled in everything that was heroic Paragons. I loved that fight.
It's like, nope.
See, I got there after the majority of the bugs were fixed, so I didn't get to deal with that nightmare. But when I got there, I loved the fight. I loved all the working pieces. I loved the minor nuances you could insert into the fight to change things. And I understand that 10-man it's a much easier encounter than 25-man was, but I loved the fight. And then the crux of it all was when my guild decided that we're going to do the very logical thing and solo tank heroic 10-man Garrosh with not the Death Knight but the Brewmaster Monk. So we had an elemental shaman kiting the Iron Star in phase 4, and that was a lot of fun. That was really cool, especially those moments when the debuff didn't reset, so it would go up to like 24 before the next whirling, and I'd sit there just butt clenched the entire time. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with my Brewmaster these past 2 tiers.
The most interesting thing about the Brewmaster is how the mechanics didn't change, but the gear did. And I think we're going to run into the same problem we did in Warlords. Valen was asking about that right now, is because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's going to scale." They feel a little weak right now, but it's going to scale, and they did. They did in Mist, because I remember the first tier. Everyone was saying Brewmasters are really good, but you have to have a good one. You have to have good gear because you had to have someone with a lot of good shuffle up time. Otherwise, you just get raffle stomped.
Oh, definitely. It's and that's one of the things. A lot of it with Brewmasters was the learning curve, just because nobody knew how the class worked, obviously.
Right. But if you got a good Brewmaster in 5.0, and every single patch, Brewmaster has been bring a Brewmaster if you have a good one, because they are overpowered.
Definitely.
It took me a while to get in the swing of things, because this first time I've tanked since Burning Crusade, maybe. When I kind of got thrown into the thing, it was like, hey, you can tank and you already have agility gear, so you can do it, right? And I was like, we'll see. Let's go ahead and try this up.
I did the same thing.
I have to tell him to punch me in the face?
Yeah. So for me, it was a huge learning curve, because I was relearning to tank from Burning Crusade. I was a Paladin tank back then, and like you said, if I was a horrible Brewmaster tank at the beginning, and everyone's like, "You're really squishy." I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I did the same thing in Throne of Thunder. When I went, I remember Jinrock like friggin' 2-shot me, and I was like, "What is going on?" I have really good gear because I went from Windwalker to Brewmaster. I'm like, I don't get what's going on. They're like, "Okay, is your shuffle up?" I'm like, "No." Oh, that's why.
What kept happening to me was I kept pulling threat. That was my biggest problem when I first got
Keg Smash, and all of a sudden everything hits you again.
Keg Smash, everything's that. Jinrock turns around and just starts murdering me. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, guys.
Something I want to point out.
How many times have I been told in Siege, take Keg Smash off of your Tation when I taunt?
Yep.
No. You do the put your back to the boss while the other person's doing it, so you don't even touch the boss, and then you turn around, you can do whatever. That was our deal.
LeBlue?
So something I kind of like, the weakness of non-block tanks is our stat scaling, and this is like, if you've seen anything with some higher end Brewmasters, this is a concern for Brewmaster monks and Druids and Death Knights, is they don't have the secondaries to really prop them up early on. And I felt like Throne of Thunder's set bonuses really did a good job of kind of holding us over with this, particularly for every second of elusive brew after it ends, you get a bonus to mastery, and that really kind of helped brewmasters not feel nearly as squishy in tot, because when you had elusive brew up, you obviously weren't going to get hit as often, and then when it was down, you still had a defensive benefit. Until Siege, when we just naturally got enough mastery on our gear to where we were pretty resilient as it was. I'm kind of hoping to see something similar to that in Warlords, although obviously we haven't. But it's the improvement in the players overall, as well as just as you saw the class evolved with secondaries, has definitely been noticeable. And I'm kind of excited to see what will happen now that crit isn't our stat overlord, because now there's a damage component to mastery and whatnot.
And there's bonus armor and versatility.
And purifying matters. I no longer am waiting until I'm at like a 2 million stagger to purify it. And I actually want to look at a green or yellow one and go, should I purify it or not?
I think going into Warlords, mechanics-wise and stats-wise, Brewmaster's in a really good place. I just think we're going to have to... The first tier is going to be a little tricky because, just like in 5.0, until you get used to the new mechanics and you get the gear to back you up, you're going to be squishy as hell. So that's going to be part of the problem. But once you get some gear, once you get used to it, you're going to be just fine, and you'll be back again. Every single tier has been bring a Brewmaster, so you're going to be wanted.
Yeah, my only disclaimer for Mythic Highmall and Mythic Blackrock Foundry is, if you've listened to some of the top-end players talk about how Brewmasters, and even to an extent Guardian Druids and Death Knights, are going to be really weak first tier, that problem right there is very limited to, like, we're talking people high-end, like world first, even like top 50, 100 guilds. That is a very narrow problem. If you play, like, anywhere lower than that, you can play your Brewmaster and you'll be fine. You'll be completely fine. So if you love your Brewmaster, don't shelve it because of that. Because unless you're like up there with Blood Legion and whatnot, that isn't that big of a concern. You will have the time to gear up to mitigate that problem.
Yep.
So that's my big disclaimer for Warlords as we move on into the expansion.
That's really important to keep in mind, that a lot of the problems that people are talking about are literally only problems for people chasing server first.
Yep. And world first even.
Yeah, server first, world first. If you're not chasing those, or you're just, it's a bunch of friends that get together every Friday night and you just knock it out, don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Yep. So I want to go around the table here and talk about, story-wise, your monk's story. Like, you came up from level 1 to level 90. What was kind of what are some high points for you, for your monk in particular? What are some high points and even some low points of your story? Everyone's thinking about it, so I'll start first. My high point was, in terms of story mode, in terms of my character, kind of the low point, was my monk started on the Horde. And it was a Horde Pandaren, and it was in 5.2, no, 5.1, when we had those dailies in Krasarang. And you go through that whole story mode, and you end up with, spoiler alert, Garrosh looking like he killed Anduin in just cold blood, just smacked him down.
Mm-hmm.
And now, there were some real-life things that happened as well that made me switch, but I switched at that moment to Alliance. So my character basically said, this is not the Horde, this is not the faction I want to be with, and switched over. And I found that was a really cool kind of story arc for my character, kind of switching over and switching factions. And I'm happy that I can be Pandaren to do that, because that works quite nicely. Anybody else?
There was a point going through the Jade Forest. The tail end of the Jade Forest really felt like the end of a tragedy, where things had been building, And suddenly you realize, oh no, this is all going to go horribly, horribly wrong. And it's the point at which the Horde and the Alliance start to attack, and that errant cannon takes out the Jade Serpent statue. I literally leaned back in my chair at the time and said, oh, God. No. Oh, God, we ruined this. And it was one of the only times I'd ever been actually emotionally engaged with questing. Because it doesn't happen very often. For me, quest is just a way to get experience, get gear, move on, whatever. But what they were actually trying to tell in that first zone was a story of an awful tragedy, and it worked. Mm-hmm. They kind of dropped the ball later.
Yeah.
Because the very next thing you meet is, hey, I'm Chen, and here's my friend Mudmug, and let's go have adventures. You know, and it's, oh, God.
Right.
Did you not see what... I did that. Big, brown, black thing coming out of the ground trying to eat everybody. I did that. Oh, whatever. Let's go have a beer. You know,
right.
It didn't fit in the story. And it was one of the biggest points the first time going through Miss Pandaria that was also one of the biggest letdowns.
Yeah.
Now, the stuff about the Hidden Master going on in Krasarang Wilds and in Valley of the Four Winds was a lot of fun. It felt like a kung fu movie.
Right.
Which was really great for a monk because it's like, yes, this is exactly what a monk is supposed to be doing. It felt really weird going through those quests with my Death Knight because my Death Knight is basically like, I stab. And if I'm really mean or I like him, I twist a little, you know. But the monk, it felt totally natural to, yes, you're going to find this guy and you're going to train. And the little training montages they would do were kind of neat. After that, I kind of got really disengaged with the story until the 5.1 dailies.
Yeah.
But I did the 5.1 dailies as Alliance. And sadly, it starts really, really strong. And it ends really, really strong. But there's a middle part with the Monkey King where you're just going, who is this guy?
Right.
Why is there a monkey?
The Horde definitely got
the Monkey King.
Yeah. The Horde definitely got a lot better on that side because it was all about that bell the whole time. And so you got a nice, thorough narrative pretty much the entire time. And so I haven't actually done the Alliance ones. Yeah.
So...
But, just a last thought. I think in overall, the story kind of forgot what was going on with monks about halfway through the expansion. It really, really dropped the ball. And one of the biggest mistakes they made was say, yeah, the end boss is going to be Garrosh. Because then the whole expansion went from, oh man, it's going to be so much fun exploring this, to, is he evil now?
Right.
He just dropped Rubble on, and I think he killed Anduin. Is he evil now? Can we kill him now?
Right.
And it kind of took all of the dramatic... What's the word I'm looking for? The dramatic tension out of the story. Because it was all gone. You were just waiting for him to turn evil. If the 5.4 cinematic had come out without us knowing that Garrosh was the final villain, you would have heard heads popping across the world.
Right.
But that's kind of... I love the expansion. I'm going to miss sitting in Sunsong Ranch and watching the rain roll in on the valley. That's what I'm going to miss. The story, I'm not going to miss that much.
I was going to say, for me, there's two kind of high points in the story. Both kind of piggyback off of what you guys were saying. The first one, just very cheesy, is, I'm sorry, it was a high point for me to adventure with Chen Stormstout. I just enjoyed it, just maybe not so much for the true, story of it, but like as a fanboy of World of Warcraft and Warcraft before that, Chen has always been like one of my favorite characters, period. So we got to hang out with him there, and then again in the when you were kind of going around trying to find his family, the Dreadwaste. So for me, as a fanboy, that definitely hit the point that I wanted, because I wanted to hang out with Chen.
I'll concede his storyline in the Dreadwaste was phenomenal.
Yeah, And the second actually kind of piggybacks on Chai, where you flipped to Alliance at that point where, Anduin is under the rubble. For me, it was Dagger in the Dark, when Vol'jin is going to be, assassinated, and when you get done with it, it's that point where you're like, I see, we're going to rebel here, but we have to bide our time. As staying Horde, that was like the thing that really pushed it to like, oh yeah, he is a bad guy, but we have to be smart about this, guys. Let's not give up on our Horde. Let's be smart, play a little low, and then go from there. So because I didn't
give up on the Horde.
No.
Totally.
No.
Just
We have space
have
goats.
fun.
Mm-hmm. So it was almost like, yeah, we did all this horrible stuff in Jade Forest, and you feel really down about your character, and really I felt down about the Horde through the entire thing that Garrosh was doing, and but then you have that time where Vol'jin's like, yeah, I'll be back, we're gonna get this done right, and then we're gonna take him out.
Right.
So that was really the high point for me, was actually seeing that, like, yeah, this is my Horde, this is what I want to do with the Horde. I don't want to be the Iron Horde, as it were, at this point.
Right.
So that was a high point for me in terms of just making the turn.
All right, Air?
This is my first real expansion, because I joined in right before the beginning of Pandaria. So, I mean, a lot of cool story elements. It was fun leveling a monk from nothing, going and essentially doing a lot of the story stuff again. Some of the areas I've been visited with my original character. Overall, yeah, I mean, I think all the original stuff up until, through MSV and Heart of Fear and Toes, I think all of that story and then Throne of Thunder was great. Everything after Orgrimmar, all that orc stuff, for me, that's the low point. But story-wise, I think everything else I really, really did enjoy. But I guess, I mean, for me personally, like, the best part of this expansion has been learning how to raid, getting in with the groups. And so it's not really the story so much, but it's about the people I've been able to meet, people I've been able to get with, and the team that I've been able to grow close to over this last year of Orgrimmar especially, and to be lucky enough to know these people and to be able to raid with these people. That, I think, I mean, that transcends any amount of in-game story or in-game lore for me personally. So, short and sweet.
All right, LeBlue?
So I
like,
began
there's
my
story in this game?
Yeah, believe it or not, it's kind of crazy. So I began my journey as a level 1 panda on the wonderful server Storm Rage. So while I was listening to everyone in Vent go, yep, server's crashing again in Pandaria. Yep, server, hey, we can't, one person at a time every 10 minutes can get on the little copter thing to do the first starting quest.
Oh
as
god,
the
I
entire
forgot that starting
server
quest.
piled on to that airship and was waiting. I missed that whole thing because I leveled from level 1, and I was literally a couple hours behind the Realm First monk who did Recruit a Friend. I did not do Recruit a Friend. Me and a couple of buddies, we stayed up in Vent, and so it launched Tuesday night or Wednesday, whatever morning it was, and that was early that Friday morning with only a few hours of sleep that I hit it. But yeah, I love the Pandaria story. Jade Forest was fantastic. Loved everything about it. I loved traveling around with Chen's Stormstout. I actually think if they switched the storylines effectively for Valley of the Four Winds and Jade Forest, like the more serious parts of Jade Forest, switch it with Valley, I think it would have been a lot better flow-wise. Kunlai was okay. It was actually really cool learning about the Mogu and stuff. The Shadowpan stuff was alright. A little bit of the in-between stuff, not so great. Crass the Ring was pretty cool when I got around to it eventually. Dread Waste, I really liked Dread Waste. I was always super excited to get to Dread Waste. But my low point, for sure, was Town Long Steps. I got there, and I just felt like I was slogging through a swamp. It was awful.
What was the point of Town Long?
There are these
Shadowpan.
cowmen. They're Tauren, but they're reskinned, and they're mean. Go fight them. Grrr.
They have
Shadowpan's
They're like goblins.
story was what Town Long was about.
but it was weak. Like for such an awesome organization, it felt
because
really weak.
you got the core Shadowpan story in Kun Lai, which went right into the instance.
Right.
Yeah, so Town Long was definitely a major low point for me. The 5.1 stuff, fantastic. I did both sides of it. I loved every bit of it. I could appreciate the Monkey King thing. I thought it was kind of cool, Monkey King, but obviously not everyone agrees. Watching Jaina go absolutely ballistic on everyone, that was awesome for both sides. But I mean, then you got Throne of Thunder, which that whole thing, the island leading up to it, the events leading up to it as we slowly unlocked it, heralding back to some of the older things like AQ when opening that up. That was actually really cool. I thought that was neat, even if it's a complete pain in the butt to do nowadays with the quests and stuff. But when it was opening up, that was actually really cool. And then 5.3 was really cool, and that's how we got what Timeless Isle sort of is now. Timeless Isle, whatever, go play in your own corner. Don't really care too much about it. And then, but then Siege of Orgrimmar, if only they hadn't caved and said Garrosh will be the final boss when they're releasing Pandaland stuff. If they had never said that, I'm completely on board. It would have been such a shock. It would have been amazing. Like, they could have developed it, and you could have been kind of like inkling, like, Garrosh is doing some pretty mucked up things. But to have it as a raid, just suddenly, like, there's that cinematic, that would have been such a huge thing, and I think it would have done amazing things for this expansion story.
I kind
of have seen. Go ahead, Chai.
I kind of envy the people who don't pay attention to these things. Sometimes, I envy those who don't read news sites, who don't listen to the podcasts and things like that, because that came as a shock. When 5.4 cinematic dropped, it's like, holy crap!
Shock. For a majority of the WoW population, that probably was actually a shock, because believe it or not, the minority of people actually follow those news sites and what. No,
yeah, but you have people in guild talking and stuff like that. But
in the middle of Dragon Soul, towards the end, it's like, oh, don't worry, guys. Next expansion, we're going to go after Garrosh, and it'll be over.
Right.
That's every guild was talking about that. It was not considered a spoiler in the slightest the entire time that information was out there.
Yeah.
They just missed out on an opportunity. They really
and they did the same thing in Warlords too.
Garrosh is such an interesting character.
We kind of knew we'd be going after Grommash. The other part about, it's going to be kind of Burning Legion-ish and whatever, it's like, why are you talking about this?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just shut up and let me experience it. Just tell me, we're going to kill Grommash. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
and Garrosh will be dealt with. He won't be in the raid. Oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah, I have to admit that
much.
It was the ball drop, because Mist, going into it, Garrosh isn't even in your head, because you have this whole new continent to explore, this whole race of people that have nothing to do with the orcs, and
you had a great villain in the Mogu.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially Lei Shen, really solid.
Lei Shen was great.
Yeah.
Like, just from a lore perspective, the Mogu really felt like the natural enemy. It felt like we were going to be fighting Mogu the whole time, and we had to.
I saw the Shah. The Shah was. I was expecting our final boss to be like the Shah of Violence or something like that. I thought that was kind of a bit of a letdown.
The Shah of Violence and Shadow.
I know but when I first came in and I saw the very first intro in the Alliance side was when you're meeting Terran Zu, and he's talking about the Shah, and he says, you guys are bringing war, you guys are bringing violence to our shores, you are causing this, stop it. And I immediately in my head, if I didn't know Garrosh was going to be the end guy, I was saying in my head, this is going to be a Shah. We were going to be fighting ourselves in Pandaria. And
so they spoiled that and said, "Oh, you'll wrap up all the Shaw stuff in the first patch," because they ruined that too.
Right.
So
that was oh my god! I completely forgot about the fact that it's like, by the end of the first patch, you'll know why you're there in Pandaria.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. We didn't know until 5.4, and some suit and some dude who's named when you mix it up is Emperor Shao Hao tells you, it's my fault.
I just hope for future expansions. Draenor is kind of ruined, if you will, in that respect. But I hope in future expansions, especially ones where it's much more ambiguous on what we're doing in some place like Pandaria, they don't spoil it for us.
Yeah,
because if they had left certain unknowns, Garrosh, are we done with the Shaw in the first patch or not? Yes or no? If they had left those alone, so much could have been like, we could have had so many more surprises that would have made the story so much better.
Pandaria was the first expansion where we had that as a possibility. Because before we knew, it's like Illidan was on the cover, Deathwing was on the cover, Wrath of the frickin' Lich King, come on. Pandaria was the first one where it's like, we have nothing. We don't know anything.
What's this smiling panda?
Right.
I don't want to kick his ass.
We're fighting Chen. End boss. Chen. No, Lore
Chen
Walker
Stone
Cho.
start for end boss.
Lore Walker Cho. End boss. Telling you.
You know,
Shit.
honestly, I really felt like Garrosh being the end boss was a disconnect from what the story should have been, like you guys were saying. It's like, if they would have just kept us on Pandaria the whole time and the end boss was actually like a Pandaria person, I would have been happier overall.
Yeah, the Shah and the Klaxi, they had, and the Mogu, like you said, the Shah, Klaxi, and Mogu are all great villains that we could have fought and we could have as a good end boss. But you know, the whole Garrosh thing, I felt good going in and defeating Garrosh. That felt right, but I don't know if it felt right in Mists of Pandaria.
The shock value of it, like just the fact that we're going in there was completely spoiled, though. Like, like we've said several times now, if we didn't know Siege of Orgrimmar was the final raid, and we had all these events leading up to it, we had the rebellion coming up and stuff, and it's like, oh man, I wonder what's going to happen next patch, and then suddenly we are raiding Orgrimmar to take down Garrosh. That shock value alone would have done so much and would have made it feel more cohesive, I think. But just the fact that we went into the expansion knowing, like, all right, we're going to kill Garrosh. We're going to kill Garrosh. Is it this patch yet? No. Is it this patch yet? No. What about this? No. I mean, that's what it turned into when it could have been like just, oh my gosh, we need to take this guy down. Because it wasn't, oh my gosh, we need to take this guy down. It's, oh, we can finally kill this guy.
Yep.
So...
The other thing too is the Zandalari were there too. They could have used a little more. I felt like they were just like kind of thrown in there to like.
They were the first
gotta
three
have
bosses,
your trolls,
and
man.
good to go.
Every expansion, gotta have your trolls.
Yep.
Right, but I feel like they could have done something more with them. You know.
Yep.
There's the scenario where you with Baron and
Blood in the Snow. I think you're talking about
yeah,
the dwarves.
And they kind of hint at kind of the names of Zandalari people that are out there. So
I think the loose ends they kind of made with that were kind of mucked up. I think outside of that, I think the involvement of the Zandalari was appropriate. It wasn't too much, but they were definitely there with the Warbringers and whatnot. But Blood in the Snow definitely kind of opened up something that didn't actually need to be opened up at all. Because and then there was suddenly troll activity all over the place. But there's only this one scenario dealing with it. You guys don't worry about the rest of it. It kind of does whatever. So.
All right. Well, it's time now to travel to the Peak of Serenity, the home of all monks in
Zen Pilgrimage.
Monks, assemble!
At WoW Farmed on Twitter asks, do you think the heal from Blackout Kick will get nerfed? I can tank with it. One kick heals more than Death Strike heals my Death Knight. What do you think, Brewmasters?
Sure, go for it. We've had Fury Warriors tank a Mercius, so YOLO. Whatever.
Yeah.
Does the Blackout Kick heal in Brewmaster, or is that only a Windwalker thing?
Windwalker. That's the combat conditioning thing, so not Brewmaster.
It's
I
really
always
hard to
glyph.
judge what they're going to do by anything you can tank right now.
Yeah.
Because these bosses are going down with a stiff wind. So
they are so undertuned. Go look at Warcraft logs just for fun, and go look at Siegecrafter Black Fuse kills and Mythic.
He's turned off the rankings because it doesn't matter anymore.
It's trinket
It
procs.
really doesn't matter. When we started, Rolling Thunder decided the first week after the patch we're going to get together with our new people and it's going to be great and we're going to relearn our team dynamic. It's like no, just pinballs, boop, 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 all the way down. It's like this doesn't matter. Bring alts, I don't care.
Yep.
So don't judge Warlords by what you're seeing now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at Cole_CSR asks, best MOP raid boss for each spec. So, all right.
Mr. Weaver taught.
So which boss in particular was your favorite?
Horadon was the one that I felt the most powerful on just because I had a specific role, but the one boss that I always felt was specifically built for a Mistweaver was Tortos.
Oh, yeah.
What interrupts?
I'd say Garrelon. I'd honestly say Garrelon for Mistweaver.
I didn't do Garrelon as a Mistweaver.
Oh, see, Garrelon was a Mistweaver's dream because of how Rem worked, especially like a 10-man, but the constant healing matched up almost perfectly with Rem. You obviously had jab, jab, uplift. You could be inside, Zeal weaving inside of those rings that deal extra damage to his legs and doing more healing because of the extra damage debuff. It was the Mistweaver fight of, I'd say, of the expansion, to be quite honest. Perfect damage patterns and a damage taken debuff for fist weaving.
So I've got an interesting
the other
Windwalker
boss
one. Go ahead, Duke.
The other boss that would be good for a Mistweaver is Malkorok. Because you revival right at the beginning and everyone's got green shields.
Yeah, that was good. The fight I had the most fun on with Windwalker was actually, and this is going to be a little weird, Elegon.
I can see that.
Because you had Diffuse Magic, you had Touch of Karma, you had Fortifying Brew, and so that the whole time when you're going into the center and then have to come back out and clear your stacks, like I was going up to like 16, 17 stacks, my healers were yelling at me, I'm like, dude, I got this, chill. And so I was doing like a crap ton of throughput just from my defensive cooldowns, which was a lot of fun. So I enjoy that, and being able to Flying Serpent Kick, Transcendence off of the platform when needed. That was a lot of fun and a lot of good cheese in that encounter.
Cheese is always good. I prefer mature cheddar personally.
Yes. So, Era, what is your favorite MLP raid boss?
I enjoyed the like using Storm Earth and Fire a lot. So I did enjoy, like, after it was going back kind of older content. Will of the Emperor was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy like Elegon for those reasons, because I remember helping out a team, the Watermelon Initiative at the time, getting their kill, and just being able to cheese as much not cheese, but eke out as much DPS as possible, because we were 1% short for an entire night, just about. So, using the abilities that we had at the time as greatly as possible.
Yeah.
As far as Siege goes, I kind of enjoy Protectors because it's a lot of Storm, Earth, and Fire management. Maybe not a lot of else going on, but I don't know, there are a lot of bosses.
Right, there are a lot of
bosses. Makes it hard to pick that, but anything that I was able to use a lot of like monk specific mechanics that I really did enjoy. Yeah, I'd say.
Right, how about LeBlue?
See, I can't pick a single boss.
Garrosh.
Oh yes, so much. Love Garrosh. I love every boss where all I do is sit there and kite things all fight. Those are best boss. Just like Tordos Heroic and Garrosh. Those are freaking stupid. And it's gonna happen again in WoD. I'm not even gonna say it's not, because we're gonna be kiting something again, because we're even better now.
Because that's what we do. We kite.
We're even better now at it. Dizzying Haze doesn't even cost energy, and it goes twice as fast now.
Right.
Tier 14, it's a tie between Imperial Vizier, Zorlok, and Will the Emperor. I actually liked the attenuation dance and everything. Sorry, friends who don't. Tier 15 is tossed up between Dark Animus, Heroic, and Lei Shen, for obvious reasons on Lei Shen and Dark Animus, because it's a very interesting and different encounter. I thought it was a lot of fun, like putting a puzzle together. And then, I think I said it earlier already, I am a very big fan of Paragons of the Klaxi. Sorry, friends. I know that's probably the weirdest thing you've ever heard someone say, that they actually like Paragons. I thought Paragons of the Klaxi was an amazing fight when it did work properly.
Right. As a brewmaster, I did enjoy that fight, because it was different. You weren't just tanking the same thing for 4.5 minutes. Every single bug required something a little bit different and required you to adjust on the fly for the combination that you had out. So yeah, as a brewmaster, I did enjoy Paragons.
Right. Why don't you, Adam? What was your favorite MOP boss encounter?
I'd say for brewmastering, there were two that were tied. One was Tordos. I actually had fun kind of grabbing the bats as a Mistweaver. I know some people probably definitely hated it, but for me, I had fun. And that's when we didn't get any DPS, negatives. So those meters were amazing. It was just fun. And then for in Siege of Orgrimmar, I had a lot of fun in Thok. Single tanking it, we were able to do it pretty well. And I don't know, for me, it just really flowed really well. And unfortunately, I had to kill a Tyrannosaurus. So.
Aww.
Well,
Sorry, Barney.
I descend from Tyrannosaurus, so it kind of it hurts.
All right.
But it had to be done.
So Cole CSR also asked on Twitter, and I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. So tips and tricks for leveling as a monk.
Brewmaster.
Do your daily.
Don't use Breath of Fire.
Yeah. Brewmaster, don't use Breath of Fire. Do your daily.
Yep.
Done.
So
You'll be
now
85 in an hour.
Leveling from 90 to 100, that's going to be a little different because you don't get that daily anymore. Not the XP buff, anyways. The biggest things I can throw out to you is our healing spheres are gone, so make sure to utilize Surging Mist in between fights. Keep yourself topped off and keep going. Spinning Crane Kick, don't waste that unless you have more than 3 targets. It's such a time killer. Yeah, those are really the kind of big ones. Storm, Earth, and Fire, don't use it on a single target.
I think you're going to die pretty quickly, especially
if I can insert something. If you are leveling for maximum speed, level Windwalker.
Yeah.
There's no amazing super advantage anymore for being a tank. There's no real advantage for being Crane stance. You can do it, but it's slower.
Yeah.
If you want at maximum 100% speed, just go Windwalker.
Yep.
So,
If you never want to die, go Crane or go Brewmaster.
yeah, but
It'll be slower. And if you're just taking your time leveling, because we have like 3.5 weeks before the raids even think about opening.
Yep. All right, and Forged Legacy, which is also known as Valen, asks, what is the most memorable moment in-game and on the show from our times here? So, in-game for me, I'm actually going to say our Thok kill on the all-monk raid. Yeah.
Yes.
All of us go, like a ton of us go Mistweaver, and we just fistweave the hell out of him. And we beat up his left toe so bad.
That was so stupid.
96 stacks.
Yep.
Oh my god.
96.
That was so dumb.
It was beautiful.
So on the show, oh man, I don't think I can pick a on the show moment. There's been so many good moments on this show.
I want to say last week when I almost killed Acid.
That actually does rank up there when you yelled, "Come at me, bro." That one was pretty good. I'd say the very first show 0, when we were still trying to figure out the tech and everything like that, and there was so much enthusiasm from everybody, and that was a lot of fun. So.
Duke with, what was it, Confucius say? He started with that.
Yeah,
No, that was Naoyuki.
That was Naoyuki.
That was not Yuki.
Naoyuki. Confucius say, and then it wasn't funny, and eventually he just gave up.
The first one, what was it?
The first one was funny. The
first one was funny. Yes.
The second one was funny too because I sent it to him.
Right, and then he started going serious, and then he kind of dropped it. So
it was a good idea. For me, honestly, the most memorable moment on the show happened off the show. It was the phone call that we all had over Skype where we kind of sat and talked about what we wanted to do as a show.
Right.
And it was, Chai, me, Naoyuki, Sunnier, and Air was in on that call too. And the reason I remember it is because I wasn't home. Mm-hmm. I was at a park nearby enjoying the food trucks. And I'm sitting there trying to decide between which one of these two do I want to have. And suddenly the phone starts ringing. I tell my wife, let me take this. It'll only be like 5 or 6 minutes. It turned out to be half an hour. And then it's like,
You're still alive?
Just bring me something. Just pick one of them. And she gives me this look like, no. Go get your own damn food. Or sit on the phone and starve. So I hung up the phone, and I was the hungriest I've ever been in my life. Because I was so energized from the phone call. It's like I just wanted to start the show like right now. It's like, let's just grab food, drive home, start the show now. And that's going to be the memory that sustains me through all these shows. It's the reason why I come at this with such energy. Because, man, it's just a lot of fun talking with you guys.
So every time you get on, you just feel hungry.
Well, no, I eat now beforehand.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
You know, in game for me was we actually got our Lei Shen kill like the day before the next stuff was coming out. So literally on our last pull of the night, like, so that was great. For the show, it's kind of like Duke is kind of being asked to be on the show, because for me, I was talking to Chai about it, and he's like, yeah, LeBlue is also, interested in being on it, and me and LeBlue were both working with Blizzmaster, and he was writing the monk stuff, and I'm like, damn it, he's gonna pick LeBlue over me. Now I'm not going to be able to be on the show.
Be able to add this to my empire of podcasting.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you figure at that point, this was only my second podcast I was doing, and I was excited to do it again. So when Chai's like, yeah, we're gonna kind of move people in and out, that was, for me, that was a great moment, because like, yes, I can talk about it permanently.
Right.
Yes, you're right. Our BlizzCon show last year.
Oh yeah, that was
where we got
a lot of
shut
fun.
down.
Yep, that was cool. Thanks, Valen. Appreciate it. So yeah, for those who weren't there, we had Valen was guest hosting with us, and we were just talking about BlizzCon, and we got permission to stream the first part of it because it was a public open stream, the opening panel. Twitch didn't get that memo, apparently. And Valen had posted that we were going to be streaming BlizzCon, didn't specify we were going to be streaming commentary about BlizzCon, and so someone at Blizzard caught that, sent it up the chain, and they banned our asses really good. So,
oh, that was great. The best part about that, though, was the day before all of that started happening, I was having like constant ISP disconnections going on, where I'd have to dial back in and get back to the stream and everything else. And my connection was just going down for like 20 minutes at a time because, lol, Friday.
right.
And then to have it shut down, I took off my helmet and I wanted to smash something, because it's like, God damn, on top of everything, I finally got the internet working, and now we're just gone off Twitch.
Yep. So it took me about 45 minutes to get up and running after a lovely passive aggressive email from the Twitch moderators. That was fantastic. Yeah. All right, LeBlue, any favorite moments?
In game, I was like the happiest and most angry at the same time. It was our heroic Lei Shen kill on that Sunday. I was super happy because we killed it while it was current. That was the first raid tier premeditated outside of Dragon Soul, cleared the current content. But at the same time, I was incredibly pissed because we'd already put about 100 pulls into it the previous Thursday night. We were coming in on Sunday. The second pull of the night, we killed it. The second pull of the night, I hadn't turned fraps on. So our kill video is a crappy pull from my Twitch stream, just like Raw didn't even bother. I didn't care at that point. That was my high/low point of the expansion in game. For the show, I just say it was when I made my first guest appearance back in, was it December? I think it was.
Or the Brewmaster Roundtable.
Yeah,
that was mine too.
Yeah, I was. Man, I was so stoked to be on the show, and now that I'm an actual host and stuff, that was definitely my high point. I had a freaking blast doing that.
I remember seeing the interview video you did with Chai. The entire time you couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
I fidget. I'm awful.
Yeah.
I'm so terrible.
Little known fact, LeBlue actually applied for the show before we gave him the position when Sunnier left, when we had hired Captain. And yeah, the interview video did not go very well, did it, LeBlue?
Just the entire time, he's like, is there someone on the other side of the camera trying to punch you? Like,
yeah.
What's going on?
I get fidgety. It's terrible. I'm awful.
Air, let's go to you. Yes, Air. Sorry.
Sure, yeah, so let's see. Best in-game, probably after my raid team originally fell apart.
Yeah.
It was very sad. Then some of us, we stuck together. We talked about it, we recruited people, and then we started running Siege again, and we're like, hey, this could work. And I think at that moment when we realized that this could actually work, we could build a new team, hopefully get up to Mythic. Now we are going to Mythic. I think that overall has been like kind of the greatest, happiest part. is, again, I'm a people person. I like raiding with people and people that I enjoy time with. So yeah, that's probably the coolest moment, is realizing that we could put the band back together and keep going and things like that.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you finally got that kill in, because I know you guys were working on that and you were working, and then it just fell apart. That's just, it's demoralizing. So
the team got back together, did a 10-man, and now we're doing it Mythic, getting people mounts, and but yeah, wow, it's a lot different now. As far as on the show, I think the best part is either through Twitch chat, Twitter, and the in-game messages I get from people who watch, who like what we do and appreciate the energy and the time that goes into it, and who can honestly stand listening to me and my overexcitement on a bi-weekly, well, sometimes bi-weekly, lately monthly,
sometimes bi-monthly,
basis. Anyone who takes the time just to say hello, or that they learned something, or that I'm wrong and this is what you should correct, I appreciate all that. So, any show where anyone kind of comes back and says something, that's kind of the best parts of the show for me.
The community is definitely high up there, and getting the interactions between people. I love getting messages in game saying, "Hey, I love watching the show. I rolled a monk because of you." I mean, that's kind of fantastic. And also, I'm going to say high up there in my moments was interviewing Coltrane. That was
Good times.
a ton of fun. That was a lot of fun. All right, so let's go into some community projects that are going on. So the biggest one is coming up next Thursday, November 6th. Actually, that's only 3 days away. Holy crap. World of Podcasts is coming up at 6:30 p.m. Pacific at the Hilton. So if you're going to be attending BlizzCon, or if you're just around the area, go ahead and stop on in. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to put links in the show notes to those to those not attending. The event is going to be streamed, so it's actually live on YouTube right now. And it has a countdown, and so when it starts, it'll actually start streaming, and you can watch it live. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to be in the predictions panel, the first one up. Duke is going to be in the end game, from casual to hardcore.
I'm casual.
No, you've down Hiroka Rosh. You're
hardcore now.
hardcore.
I fixed that. I got it.
Sorry. Yes, that's right. Sorry.
I took care of it. He's hardcore now.
That's
he will
right.
call
I
you
have to
all
be
filthy casuals. Don't worry.
Right.
We got this covered.
And
got it. Good.
Guanshu is going to be in the podcasting panel. So go ahead and watch us. We'll be if you're going to be there, say hi. We'll be happy to meet you. And then Wow Martian is going to be doing a BlizzCon wrap up each day of BlizzCon. And Duke, you're going to be joining them, right?
I'm going to be joining in. I'm not quite sure in what capacity, but I'll be on to help out with the recaps.
Okay. And
there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. Yep. So speaking of a lot, 10 years of WoW is coming up. And they're going to be celebrating it. They're going to do a meetup outside of BlizzCon on Friday, November 7th. So if you're in the area, stop by. There's no BlizzCon ticket required. We're going to have a DJ, parties, a whole bunch of stuff. Come celebrate and hang out with us. We're going to be there. It's going to be from 8:30 to 10 p.m. Pacific right outside the convention center. So, yeah, definitely join in and meet us. And we're going to be doing a Monk Meditation reaction mini show from BlizzCon. It won't go on Twitch. I doubt we're going to have the bandwidth to do it.
Hooray, hotel.
Yeah, but I will upload it to YouTube if I have the connection to do it. And I'll get it onto the podcast feed as well. So feel free to point out or to look for that.
And if you are going to BlizzCon, we have a group me chat set up for monks to get together to talk about what we're doing. We are planning to get together for Sunday, monks versus the mouse when we invade Disneyland. So there's going to be a lot of chances to get together with other monks and just hang out and have a blast, including just being in the Hilton bar, because that's where most people go.
And doing a little Cards Against Humanity. So
yeah,
that will happen.
So really, if you want to get in, hit me, hit Chai. There's a few other people that you can hit over Twitter. Get us. We'll get you into the group me. Everyone's welcome. We want to see all the monks. Every monk. All of them.
Yep. All right.
All the monks.
All the monks. Monks assemble in LA on Friday.
Indeed. All right, guys, I think it's time to put the brew away. But first, let's go see those awesome 5-star reviews. We have one from... How the heck do you pronounce that? JFB? JFB. Okay. A must-listen for any monks. This podcast is one of the best resources around for monks. The hosts are knowledgeable, can't speak worth crap, but he did say well-spoken, well-prepared, and encompass some of the best monks around. Sunnier is the reason I main Brewmaster. The results are a highly informative show that is also humorous, thanks to great host personalities. If you've even considered rolling a monk, listen to this show. Thank you very much, JFB. We appreciate it. So please rate us on iTunes or on Stitcher, subscribe on YouTube or on Twitch.tv. It really helps out. So if you're going to be around on Sunday at BlizzCon, let me know as well. We're trying to put together the Monk Disneyland Day. I also want to give a shout out to Rolling Thunder for some great raiding experiences throughout Mists of Pandaria. I'm really looking forward to Warlords of Draenor. LeBlue?
I have a special shout out to Nayuki and his group. They killed Mythic Garrosh Sunday night.
Woo!
I was actually on my baby monk in that's in Convert to Raid, and I saw it flash across the screen, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So, congrats to them.
Nice.
I also have a very special shout out concerning next week. Next week, in case you don't know, on Tuesday is Veterans Day. And I request that everyone go out and at least tell someone thank you for your service. I myself am a veteran, and I make sure at least tell at least one if I can. But these are people who have given a lot to serve their country. So huge shout out to them, and free food.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Anyone else have anything they want to say? Shout outs?
Yeah, actually. I forgot to put it in there, but so this weekend, BlizzCon weekend is actually a big milestone for the Nexus podcast. It's my Heroes of Storm podcast. We are celebrating 1 year of talking about Heroes of the Storm, and episode number 50 at BlizzCon.
Oh, fantastic!
Nice.
So we're gonna be streaming it because I made sure that I was gonna be able to do that.
Fantastic! I hope you guys got some big news to go over there. That'd be great if you had a beta date.
Yeah, I'd love anything to really talk about. So I'm gonna be harassing developers. That's my goal at BlizzCon, is to harass developers.
Right. Get the info.
Yep. So yeah, it's very exciting. So check out the Twitter at the Nexus Podcast for kind of details, because we're not doing it at our normal time. Because that'd be Friday night. We're gonna wait till after Saturday to really go over any news. So.
Okay. Daikatsu or Air, got anything?
BlizzCon!
Someone's excited.
See you there.
Yep.
See you there. I mean it. I want to see all of you there.
Yep.
And I have a dog that's balancing himself on my shoulder right now. Hi, dog.
Air?
Big shout out to my raid team. Working as intended. 10 people, now we're at 26, including the alternates. So, looking forward to the future and getting through everything. And yeah, downing some mythic bosses coming in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, about a month from now, something like that. So yeah, shout out to everybody like that and the team.
All right, fantastic. As part of the Monk community, if you have a blog, website, or person you want to see in the show, reach out to us via email at show@monkmeditation.com. The Monk community is the best one in the world of Warcraft. We want to showcase it. Daikatsu, how can the dojo best reach us?
Well, you can follow the show at monk_meditation. You can follow Chai T at WowMonk. Air can be found at Airwalker. I can be found at Daikatsu CTR, no underscore. Guanchu is at Geek of Random. And LeBlue is at Kagarai_LeBlue, not LeRed.
Yes. Thank you all for listening. You can watch us live Monday, November 17th, after BlizzCon and after Warlords of Draenor at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, midnight UTC. It might be different now because of daylight savings times. Yay. At twitch.tv/wowmonk. You can also visit monkmeditation.com for links to all the ways to watch and listen to the show. Monk Meditation is part of Catalyst Gaming Media. For other great gaming blogs, podcasts, and events such as World of Podcasts, visit catalystgamingmedia.com. That wraps up this episode of Monk Meditation.
May your brews be strong and your heart stronger.
Good riddance, Siege of Orgrimmar.